Today, using only one photo, we're gonna go from this to this. Hey there, my name is Ali. Today's edit is gonna be made with only one photo. So let's drag our photo to the image. Okay, this is the photo. The first thing I wanna do is I wanna get rid of this boat. I don't like its position. So I'm gonna go to the clone stamp tool. Make sure it's current layer 100%. Make sure you're on a soft brush. And try to stand on the edge of the sea. Hold Alt and click just in the middle. And then I'm gonna move and I'll hold click and just erase some. Then I'm gonna leave click. Then I'm gonna hold Alt again to sample from another point. Then again I'm gonna get rid of the boat. Okay, now we got rid of the boat. The second part, I wanna separate the sky from the foreground. Okay, I'm gonna do this by the quick selection tool. I'm just gonna select the sky like that. I'm gonna add to it this mountain, the one at the back. Okay, now I have selection of the sky, but I want the opposite of this. So I'm gonna go to select inverse. So now I have the opposite. I'm gonna hold Control and press J. Okay, so now I have this layer and below of it that layer. So if I add any layer in between and I color with any color, I can only target like the between the sky and the foreground. Okay, what I want to do now is I want to create some mountains. So I'll start by drawing any mountain shape. Let's say something like that. Just draw any like random shape you like of a mountain. For me, I like that shape. Okay. So now I'm just gonna add any layer and just add any color. It doesn't matter. Just I wanna just fill with something. Okay, now I want this mountain to have texture like that mountain. So there are two ways. The first way is I'm gonna stand on the layer, Control, click on the layer thumbnail. So now I have selection of the layer. Then go to the clone stamp tool. Tell him to sample from all the layers so that I can sample from this mountain here and I can start adding some mountain texture on top. And I guess we're good. Okay, then you can change it back to current layer and start sampling from the layer itself to fix some parts. Here like we have some orange, so I need to get rid of it. Okay. Okay, one more thing, we have a problem here. The edges are too sharp, so I'm just gonna take the blur tool. Make sure it's on 100%. And I'm just very softly gonna blur the edges. I guess 100 is too strong. Let's stick to something like 70. And just slightly blur the edges. Okay. So now we have here our first mountain. It's a bit 2D. Like it doesn't have like the 3D like that one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the dodge and tool burn. I'm gonna make it on midtones. And I'm gonna burn that part and dodge that part. So it's more of like a 3D. And here in that area, I wanna like, here it should be bright. So I'm gonna sample from here and add, oh, sorry, I have to like control click it first so that I'm not doing anything outside. And here I want it to behave that like black color. It's not black actually, it's dark blue. Okay, so now we have our first mountain. Okay, let me go to edit, puppet warp. I like this tool very much. And I'll just like put some points here and there. Let me pull this one like that. It's just playing around with the shape of the mountain. I want it to be something like that. And okay, so now our mountain is going like to the middle so that we can copy it like that. And this time, again, let's go to puppet warp. But this time, let's do the opposite. Let's just play around with its shape. I don't want it to be like the same shape as the other one. Something like that. Then I'm gonna rotate it like that. Maybe put it here. And then I'm gonna grab the eraser tool and start, oh, make sure it's 100%. Then start erasing some parts here and there. Let's give it some like different shape, like not like the other one exactly. Something like that. And down here, I'm gonna do something like this. I'm just like doing some shape in the mountain. I don't want it to look similar to that one. And of course, like this is repetitive 3 times, so I'm just gonna clone stamp from here maybe. I don't wanna see repetition. Okay, so it looks like different. Okay, now I wanna push these mountains back in the background. I want them to go back in the Z depth. So I'm gonna group them first, then I'm gonna add a curves adjustment layer on top of them, make sure it's linked below, and then I'm just gonna pull this one up, something like that, and then pull this one down. Maybe this one I'll bring it back a little bit down, a little bit up, and then I'm gonna stand on top of the layers themselves, add a layer mask. Then I'm gonna grab my brush, make sure it's a black brush, and I'm gonna choose one of my cloud brushes. I have this one here. And as you can see here, we have clouds. I want these clouds to be overlapping the mountain, so that's too much. So I'm just gonna do like some cloud overlap here and there. What I'm doing basically is I'm just erasing parts of them so that the clouds look like they're overlapping. And lower their opacity, of course. You can always do that to mix them better with the background. Okay, now let's draw another like 2 small mountains, maybe something like that. Small ones at the back. Put them in a new layer, and also you can sample layer from all layers. Give them like the same texture. Okay, this is our first one. Of course, we need to blur the edges because the edges are too sharp. And let's lower the opacity very strongly, something like that. Add layer mask and delete here and there. So it looks like they're overlapped by the sky. I also can change the shape in Puppet Warp. I want them to be like all facing the middle. Let's say something like that. And let's do another opposite one. Let's actually draw a different shape, something like that. I don't want it pointy because our other mountains are not that much pointy. Okay, I like that shape. I'm gonna fix it, but not now. So now I have my texture. I want it to be a little bit taller, so I'm just Control T, push it up, then go to Puppet Warp, fix the shape a little bit until I like it, something like that. And I want this to be here. Okay, this one is 50% opacity, so this one will be 50% opacity as well. Add a layer mask, and with a brush, a cloud brush, just add some clouds. Okay, so now it's time to do one more thing. Let me bring this one actually. This one I'm gonna Control M for curves. Sorry, this is the curves, right? Okay, I want one of them to be closer to the camera. This one, for example. So I'm just gonna stand on the curves using the brush, just a normal brush, but not 100% opacity, maybe like 40. And I'm just gonna erase some of the curves adjustment I made. So this one look closer to the camera than that one. Okay. This one actually, I'm gonna move it a little bit to the left. Let's take these two, move them a little bit to the left. Okay. Okay, now we have these and those. Okay. I'm gonna add a layer, a new layer. Then I'm gonna take a brush, a black brush with the 100% hardness. I'm gonna sample this color actually, a very dark blue. And I'm just gonna draw a straight line like that. Then I'm gonna go to the puppet warp. I'm gonna add my 2 points, one at the beginning, one at the end, and then I'm just gonna swing it like that. So now I'm trying to do like some sort of a rope in between them. I'm gonna do a copy just for in case, and I'm gonna make this one smaller, something like that. I'm gonna erase it from here and from there, so it looks like it's hitting the mountain. And just let's lower the opacity. I don't know, I'm gonna control M. I'm gonna fade it a little bit so its color match the surrounding, and just a slight opacity lowering will work good. Okay, now I have this one. Now let's add another one here on top, and let's erase it like that, something like this. Okay, but this one, it's going from close to the camera to far from the camera. So I'm gonna take the burn tool, or the dodge tool, sorry, the dodge. Make sure it's on shadows and start dodging this part. I'll dodge the hole first, then this one, so that it looks like it's going from close to far away. And then let's grab the last one, which is this one. Let's put it somewhere very small like that. Let's put it down here. Let's erase here and there. Control M for curves, and just like fade it almost to the end, and a little bit of opacity lowering. So now we have some sort of like dynamic scene because we have like these ropes going here and there. Okay, it's time to like spice things up. Let's take this one. This one, I believe it's too dark. Let me brighten it up a little bit. The brightness contrast. Let me brighten up this one a little bit. The foreground. Okay, one more thing I actually want to do is I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to go to the gradient. I'm going to stick to this one. It's called reflected gradient. How this works, it works like that. If you draw, wherever you draw, it's going to like do a round of it. So I'm going to sample this color actually of the fog, and I'm just going to with low opacity, very slightly draw something like that, another one like that, and I'm going to lower their opacity. So this fog I just drew will help blend the mountains and the edge of the sea. Okay, now let's add a new layer. This one, let's call it fog. This one, let's call it light. Okay, in this case, I'm gonna use, let's say, this color. I'm gonna take a brush. Let's do it with a gradient, a radial gradient actually. So if I draw, it's gonna draw this orange thing. So I'm gonna put this one into linear dodge add. And I'll just start drawing like some circles here and there. Okay, Control U to switch the colors. It's too yellow. I want it to be red. From yellow to red, you move to the left. So I'm just gonna move it a little bit to the left, a little bit more to the left. No, that's too much. Negative 16 is good. And I'm just gonna make it smaller from here and there, maybe. We have this slight edge, so I'm just gonna erase it. And I'm gonna change the blending mode to screen. Okay, so now we have this like some sort of light. We can move it to the left a little bit. We have this like light coming from here. I'm gonna add a new layer. I'm gonna do exactly the same, but this time with a radial gradient. So I'm just gonna pull like that. Just pull all the way from left to right with a gradient. Control U, make it more to the orange, something like that. Change it to screen. Oh, that's color dodge, sorry. Change it to screen. Then I'll just move it to the left. I'm gonna erase the like sharp edge and just like move it to the left. Erase some of it here and there. So now we have this like these two light. They create some sort of light coming from here. Let me lower the opacity a little bit if it's too strong. I'm gonna now do the opposite with an opposite color. A dark cyan or maybe dark blue. And I'm just gonna, with the gradient, I'm gonna pull. Now you don't have it in linear dodge, just in normal mode, something like that. I'm just gonna pull where I don't have light, where I wanna darken my scene a little bit. And I'm gonna change the blending mode. Let's try overlay and soft light. Soft light is actually better, so I'm gonna stick with soft light. I'm gonna brighten it up a little bit by brightness contrast. a little bit brightening so that it doesn't darken my scene so much. Okay, so now we're good, I guess. I'm gonna just erase some of it here and there. Okay, let me add now layers on top of everything. We'll start by curves. I'm gonna pull the blacks a little bit up, pull the shadows down. Let me see if I play. No, I'm gonna leave this one like that. I'm gonna add a new layer, curves. This time I'm gonna go to the red channel. I'm gonna add red in the highlights, cyan in the shadows. I'm gonna go to the blue channel. I'm gonna add yellow in the highlights, some blue in the shadows. Okay, so now these are the two colors we made. It made it like really colorful and better. Now I'm gonna hold Control Alt Shift then press E. This will merge everything into a new separate layer, so I can go to Filter, Camera Raw Filter and edit the image in one go. So I'll start with the Radial Filter. I want to bring attraction to that like lady in the middle, so I'm just gonna draw a circle around her. These you should have them like all in 0, but in my case I added some warmth to the image. Like make it warmer by adding yellow and magenta, make it brighter, make it more contrast, make it like it has more white, but that's too much white actually, just a little bit, and not that much brightness, just a little bit. And this is the clarity. Of course you increase the clarity, you want eyes to be attracted here, some sharpness, some of everything, and of course you should make sure it's inside, not outside, and press OK. So now at this area I added like clarity, warmth, brightness in the middle. Let's go to Filter, Camera Raw Filter. Let's do actually the same, but this time I'm gonna do it here. I want this area to be like brighter and having like more. Let's brighten it up a lot, like much more, something like that. And I'm gonna press OK. So now in this area you see it's much brighter and warmer, more natural because light is coming from that side. Let's go again to Camera Raw Filter. Let's now do the opposite, which is going to the FX module. I want to draw this black circle around the photo, but I'm not gonna go with 100%. You can adjust like the midpoint and the roundness, but not of course 100%, just -15 is gonna be good. And here in the dehaze you can like make the photo much like clear or full of fog. In this case I'm gonna make it a little bit foggy, and I'm gonna go to the clarity. I'm gonna reduce the clarity a little bit. That's too much, just a little bit, -4 or 5. Okay, and then I'm gonna press OK, and that's it for today's tutorial. If you have any comments or questions, make sure you put them in the comment section down below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys.